Hey, I'm Alex Mondosian, and I am broadcasting this webcast on Facebook Live from Marin County, California. We're just north of San Francisco. It's beautiful here. I don't know where you are, but what I do know is at this time of year, there's one thing to focus on if you're in business. Now, it doesn't matter if you are a service professional, such as a doctor, let's say a chiropractor, dentist, podiatrist, osteopath, doesn't care, any wellness professional, hypnotherapist, okay? You could be an accountant. You can be an attorney, right? So service professionals. What if you have a brick and mortar store, all right? What if you have a laundromat or a little retail shop? Or what if you have a little gift shop? Well, this applies to you as well. What if you're in network marketing and you have a company that you're promoting to build a network? This applies to you as well. What if you're an entrepreneur, just figuring out what you're supposed to do? Or you're a coach, consultant, or trainer, author, speaker? This is for you. I want to be inclusive, but I've been doing what I'm about to show you for over 25 years, and I believe I do it well. I've made nearly $410 million doing it with my clients, friends, colleagues, and students. And this is all about the principles of building online courses. Now, originally, online did not exist. They were sold online to get physical courses, okay, which I'll show in part 2. This is part 1 of a 2-part series. So part 2 is the next part, which may be already pre-recorded, and you'll get to watch it. It'll be on Facebook Live, and then you'll get to see the replay again and again. So principles of building online courses. What's a principle? It's a fundamental. It's always working again and again and again. So one of the most important principles of online courses, which most people just overlook, they think it's about making money. You don't create a course to make money. First, that's the second reason you create a course. You create a course to repurpose. So in repurposing your online course for big money, right? Bigger money is better than, small money. So book, small money. Course, big money. But what else can you turn that course into, right? Like maybe you're repurposing the book into the course, but I like to start with the course before the book, because the course makes more money. It's a higher dollar value. It's a higher end package. It will fund these other things. A book, a CD, DVDs. They're not dead. They're still alive and well. Coaching. You can have coaching so that you can speed up the online course learning process. A mini e-course, like a little portion of that course. A membership site, which is that course and many other courses. You can build software like I have. Audio generator, instant video generator, Ask Database, marketing makeover generator. These were all things that were developed before 2006, made me millions of dollars with 2 other partners, Armin Morin and Rick Raditz, and it all came from an online course. And then, of course, consulting, where you're actually getting paid from a company or organization to teach them what you're doing, and either you can certify them or you can show them how to do it. So the number one reason, the number one principle and fundamental, in my opinion, Alex Mondosian's opinion, you may not want to agree with me, but the number one reason to develop a course is to repurpose it. And I believe in creating a course first, then you repurpose it into the book. Then you repurpose it into Facebook Live segments or YouTube Live channels, etc., right? Then you turn it into a physical stage seminar. So I believe the online course must come first. That's my belief, right? And the reason for it is repurposing. Okay? So far, so good? So here's a question. What's the one thing that makes a good course great? What is it? I mean, you want a good course or a great course? Well, this one thing I've been doing for over 20 years, and I see course after course after course from people who are wealthier than me, people who have more marketing reach on Facebook, YouTube, on stage, more than me. I see people who I believe are smarter than me, yet they still don't do this one fundamental thing that is the absolute important pivot point. It's the hinge that swings open a huge door for people to engage with you. Now, the course should be experiential, and it should be high quality, meaning there's something there for the head, for the heart, and for the hands, right? And maybe even humanity. Not only affects you, but it impacts the rest of humanity. With my course in Teleseminar Secrets, which is my most profitable course, or over $14 million, of which about 20% was made from the course and 80% was made from repurposing the course, not even counting all the speaking gigs and interviews I got with some of the top thought leaders and best-selling authors in the world. Now, that was between 2005 and 2010, and I have many, many other courses in the Secrets brand. Stick Strategy Secrets, Hangout Marketing Secrets, Productivity Secrets, Repurposing Secrets. I got secrets, okay? So all those courses were there so we could repurpose them and build a platform and an empire. And then comes the book. And then comes the speeches and the stage presentations, not the other way around. But what makes a good course great that most people don't do? Here it is. Pre-training. What? Pre-training. If you have an event, then it's good to have pre-training virtually to get people fired up and raise the temperature. So by the time they walk into the event and they see you for the first time, they're already hotter, or at least they're warm. You don't want them to come in cold. If you want people to start your formal course cold, then you got to build up the energy to get them warm, hot, and then I guess boiling hot to where you get steam. They're coming in ice cold, below zero, right? Centigrade. And then you're going to warm them up. So they're cold, right? Maybe 10 degrees centigrade. Then you get them warm, 20 degrees centigrade. Then you get them hot, 40 degrees centigrade. Then you get them to the boiling point, which is a big leap. That's 100 degrees centigrade, or 212 in Fahrenheit, right? And then you have steam. So you're getting them from ice to steam, and in between there is liquid, there's water. Great analogy, right? You want to do a lot of that in your courses too, by the way. So I'm showing you what I do in my courses, use analogies and metaphors. But the pre-training, its whole point is to warm people up before people come in. So what do you do in a pre-training? How do you do pre-training? Well, it's easier than you think. You can have an assessment or a poll. So you get to know who is there and what people are in your course. What's their experience level, because you may have to change the course to speak to them. Like if you've never built an online course and you are watching me right now, I'm going to speak to you differently than if you had built an online course. Now, if you built an online course and you haven't monetized it, meaning you haven't made any money, which is $1 or more, or you have made money, then I'm going to speak to those two groups differently, right? So we would have three groups watching this right now. Which group are you in? Never had an online course. You've had an online course, but you haven't made any money. Or you have an online course and you've made money. All three of those segments have to be spoken to differently. Would you agree? So you want to see what the bias is with people taking your course, and an assessment gets you there. Next, you need a community. Why do you need a community? Well, Facebook is a great community, right? And that private Facebook group or public Facebook group that you create with your course should be dedicated just for the course and have rules of the game in the banner. I do that all the time. So there are usually 4 rules of participating in the Facebook group, and if people violate the rules, non-negotiable, you're out, even though you paid for it. And now that's where you build a community, and you could pair up people as accountability partners, and people are learning together. Now, some people engage more than others, and those end up becoming your high-end clients, and you get to watch the behavior. Remember, behavior never lies. Sometimes people lie when they speak, but behavior never lies. Next, an overview. Now, TOB stands for Table of Contents. When you open up a book, you have a table of contents. Why? That's an overview or a container, a context of what you're about to read. True or false? Well, it's true. Now, a course should have a table of contents as pre-training. The biggest mistake people make, in my opinion, again, I don't mean to offend you if you've done this and you're super smart and academic and you're saying, Alex, you're wrong. I'm saying this is my opinion. No one's making you watch this, right? But I'm offering to you that the overview should not be in the first module. The overview should not be in lesson 1. It should be in a completely separate module called pre-training. Why? Because people think pre-training is practice. And so they don't become as formal. They get all nervous when they go into the course and they feel it's all formal, right? But you get to warm them up in that pre-training segment. Now, you are teaching them, right? As you can tell, I'm excited, right? You're teaching them. but you're teaching them and they have a different attitude, and then they'll have a better attitude when they come in. They think they've even graduated through the pre-training. Now, if you have 100 people in the course and 20 people take the pre-training, you got a problem. Can you measure who takes the pre-training? Yes, you can. Can you even have an exam after the pre-training? Yeah, a simple one, maybe 10 questions, right? But the pre-training is to measure the engagement before people come in so you see what you got, right? And then the inner game mindset, okay? With the pre-course, I not only have assessments, I not only build a community, and I not only have an overview. If you've ever purchased a course from me, you know that's true, right? But I have an inner game mindset component, which means I'm attacking their attitude and trying to get rid of that little voice that's on their left or their right shoulder that's saying, you can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or I've bought a course like this and it didn't work last time, or I don't know if I believe what Alex is telling me, or anything that is going to reduce you, right? And not make you bigger, bolder, brighter, and do this on your own terms and take your agenda back. Okay, time out. That was an inner game segment. I'm telling on myself. I would do an inner game segment just like that. Inner game meaning heart and head, not hands. That's outer game. So I focus on the inner game so I get them ready, and I build a context around what the content is going to be, how to attack it, how to get it moving, right? So that they approach it and they consume it the way they're supposed to, and then you warm them up so that maybe they're hot by the time they come in. Here's a key point. Pre-training is often more valuable than the course. That's true. Pre-training is often more valuable than the course. Why? Because with absolute certainty, more people will go through your pre-training than they will complete the course. So pre-training should be a mini course where they can experience you and at least have them go to coaching or the next level, because they don't want to do the how-to thing, because that's not their style of learning. You know, they're not a how-to learner. They want someone to hold their hand. You know, and I have levels. I have levels at 100,000, 30,000, 12,000, right? And that's a hand-holding and even done-for-you level, like at 100,000. Well, the people who don't take the course because they just don't want to or they don't have the time doesn't mean that they can't say yes to the higher levels. In fact, 50% of my people who I do consulting for and coaching have not gone through the course. Now, they've been given the course for free, but they haven't gone through it. It's just there, kind of like a library to refer to. And that's why I'm saying they all go through the pre-training. Pre-training is often more valuable than the course. Okay, a little bit controversial, but I only say what I believe is true because it's from experience. Here's the next question. What are the 3 mistakes, and these are silly mistakes, that course builders, maybe like you, now probably if I'm having 100 people watch this, I bet you that only 25% have an online course and 75% don't have one but want one, right? Otherwise, why are you watching, right? So I'm speaking to mostly the person who doesn't have a course, right? And what are the course builders? What mistakes do they make? Because you got to be a teacher and trainer. It's not good enough just to be good at something. Michael Jordan is not a good coach. The greatest basketball player of all time, arguably, but not a good coach. LeBron James is not a good coach, sometimes not even a supportive teammate. He has a very strong coaching style that is for certain people and not for other people, and his team responds to it, right? They've lost games because of his coaching style, but one of the greatest players in basketball today. So just because you're good at something doesn't mean you can teach it, right? And sometimes you can be both, really good at something and the ability to teach it consciously and competently. That's where I believe I'm at. Now, some people can't do it and they're better teachers. Some people can do it and can't teach. If you can do both, then it's like going to heaven without the inconvenience of dying, in my opinion, right? So mistake number 1 is no pre-training, okay? How easy is it to do a pre-training where you're giving the overview, where you're doing an assessment? Sometimes I have an assessment with the 4 personas from Myers-Briggs. I want to know how many competitives do I have in my course? How many spontaneous do I have in my course? How many humanistics? How many methodicals? Those are 4 different persona or styles that people approach life, right? They're temperaments. And so this goes back all the way to Hippocrates, thousands of years ago. And the goal of it, Carl Jung made it more popular, and then Myers-Briggs made it really popular. But whether it's the DISC assessment or Myers-Briggs or the blue, yellow, green and red assessment, whatever the assessment is, at least find out who's there. And you don't have to do it, but it's kind of cool to figure out who you have. And just say, have you ever done this before or have you not done it? So that's a simple poll. Have you ever built a course or not? And then if you built a course, has it ever been profitable or not? That poll will tell you a lot. Then have them engage in Facebook, right? And then tell them what it's all about, like a table of contents, and then focus in on their inner game. So before they start module 1 or lesson 1 or training 1, whatever you call it, step 1, they are ready and they are revving up, just like a dragster, right? A dragster gets their wheels and tires really, really hot, and then they come back and they go, and they take off and do, I don't know, quarter mile in 3 or 4 seconds. That's because it's already hot. They've made the tires hot, so it sticks to the pavement, and they take off. That's what a pre-training does. Time out. I did another inner game thing, and I did another metaphor. So that's the style of teaching that I prefer. You may prefer a different one. But still, pre-training is not a style. It's a concept. It's a principle that most people overlook. That's why it's a silly mistake. Mistake number 2 is no community. Duh. Today, if you don't have a special Facebook group for your course, even if it's 10 people, big mistake. You don't know what people are talking about. You don't know if they like you, distrust you, don't understand you. You don't even have a help desk that's public. I mean, there are private help desks, like Zendesk, but a public help desk or support desk is Facebook. So everyone can see the answer, free help desk. And the third mistake is no certificate of completion. Now, I wouldn't say that is a prerequisite, but you got to celebrate when they complete the thing. Otherwise, they won't complete the thing. Now, in completing the course, do you have an examination? Do you have a survey? Do you have a certificate of completion the way we send out to people all over the world? Now, there are people watching this on Facebook right now or wherever you're watching it who have gotten certificates of completion, and you may be in Poland, South Africa, Australia, Mexico, South America, parts of Asia. We sent them out, right? Why? Because that certificate goes up on the wall, and then we ask people to take a selfie with it, and that is called completion. And that is called engagement, and that person is more likely to be a high-end client than everyone else because they engaged. Are you getting this? Okay? The purpose of this is to teach you how to do it. There's someone who has a very, very one-of-a-kind, very strong book, strong meaning it'll teach you. That's my dog Minnie. A very, very good book on the subject called Teach and Grow Rich. Okay? Now, that's not the person I'm talking about. I'll show you who she is in a moment, but she's audio bombing me right now. But that person, his name is Danny, has a free book that he's actually shipping out to people. And the reason he ships out the physical book in these days, like if you're out of the U.S., that's costing a lot of money. He lives in Montreal, but he's shipping it out, 200 of them. I'm going to give you a special code in a little bit. And the reason he's doing it is because he believes when you have a physical book in your hand, that is like having a DVD or CD or a 3-ring binder, and you can put it on the shelf, and he will be branded. Now, his name is Danny Eine. I will talk about more about what his book is about and why you're getting it for free instead of paying almost $20, right? No cash, 0 cash. And you'll see how he builds a course and he builds a tribe, all right? Now, other mistakes that people make is no open office hours. What is that? That's like having live Q&A sessions with the course builder if you have a course that is going through a certain time frame. I do these all the time. It's like private coaching that's public, and it's awesome. It works really well. No private coaching. I mean, what a great way to repurpose a course is to have private coaching and have them pay more on the same subject, but more access to you, right? No progress reports. This is a biggie. Most people make this mistake. They don't have a progress report. Some people don't even have a break between modules. They think people are going to keep up. Mistake. Let people exhale with your content. Okay, and no progress exams. I like to have little quizzes along the way just to check in with people and see who's really engaged. I don't get disappointed. I look at how effective and how aligned I was with the presentation and my tribe. Now here's the question. What's the one thing all course builders want to prevent? Now, if you built a course, you want to prevent this. And it's a word you probably haven't seen before, right? Unless there's someone in your family that has been to jail or is in a recovery program. But I apply it into course building and marketing, and it's called recidivism. Recidivism. Fancy word, all it means is backsliding. So when people go to jail because of a felony, when they recidivate, they commit another crime to go back into jail, right? So you want to do 3 things to keep them out of jail. When someone is a drug addict and they come clean, and they go through a 12-step program or whatever other support program to get them off the drug or alcohol, recidivism is going back and taking a drink again or taking the drug again, right? So how do you prevent that person from doing it? It's the same way you prevent the person in your course to stop watching, to stop engaging, right? You need 3 things. You need a glossary of terms, which is a new vocabulary. So have your own glossary of terms. Why can't you, right? You can have like 20 words or 40 words that are just yours. You need to have, a new vocabulary you need. Second, you need to have a new community or a new culture, which is Facebook. So you can do that easily. And the third thing is you need a new role model that shows up for them. So in the 12-step program, the role model is the sponsor, who's also a drug addict, but the sponsor is there to stay clean. What a concept. And they have a sponsee. The community is maybe an AA meeting, and the vocabulary is in the books that are available there, right? That's a very simple example. The same goes true with spiritual traditions, religions. I believe it should hold true with course building as well. Have a new language or vocabulary. Do a glossary of terms. I do it all the time. Number 2, have a new culture or community. That's with Facebook, and have a Facebook group with rules of the game. And number 3, you're the role model. Make sure you show up. Next, final question. What are the 4 learning styles that boost engagement? This is another area that most people overlook, maybe because they don't know about this. Now, I learned this from a genius. Okay, his name is David Kolb. And I'm kind of paraphrasing and reworking it, repurposing it, but I want to give him credit because that's where I learned it. You have 3 kinds of learners. You have the what learner. Now just tell me what it is, like bottom line, right? What can your problem do for me, right? Period. I mean, what can your solution do for my problem? Forgive me. Number 2 is the why learner. Okay, why should I get your solution? You know, why is this the best course on this topic? Then you have the how learner, like, okay, how do I consume this course? How do I get to point B using this course, right? And then the what if learner. That learner is like the bigger, brighter future. What could happen if I actually engaged in this course? Who else would it impact besides me? Who else has used this course, right? So in the Myers-Briggs tradition, the what learner is a competitive, the why learner is the spontaneous, the what if learner is a humanistic, right? Touchy-feely, and the how learner is the methodical. And you probably are a little bit of each. Isn't that interesting? So I structure my courses for all 4 learning styles. I am always thinking of what's this? What is this? I'm a competitive, and many times I think of what if. Okay, what could happen if? And I'm humanistic, so I go back and forth. If someone is teaching me with the how style or the why style constantly, I kind of lose interest because that's not the way my learning style is wired. So how are you wired? Are you a what learner, why learner, how learner, or what if, right? So I don't know, but make sure your course appeals to all 4 learning styles. Do unto them as they want to be done unto. Here's the platinum rule. Teach others as they want to be taught. Okay, not as you want to teach them, but as they want to be taught. My hope for you is in this part 1, which was, of course, the principles of building online courses, you want to get seduced to start this process of course building. Let me show you why. Because if I can't seduce you to do it, maybe many will. Because if I take a screenshot of this, this will probably get more comments than just my mug on this webcast. Say bye, Minnie. Bye, everybody. Okay, so that's it. Her bed is right there. Super cool. I got her. She's my muse, actually. She's my muse. That's another thing. In part 2, I'll be talking about find a muse. It could be a person. It could be a pet rock. It could be something that's animated, not animated, doesn't matter, but you need to find a muse. But stay tuned for that, and I hope our paths cross again. My name is Alex Mandossian.